Hello, I'm Etheleen Kale, the Queen of Vaccines.
I'm Mike.
And I am Binoka.
And we're here to explain how the immune system works against respiratory viruses, like the ones that cause COVID-19 or the measles.
How all of it works?
No, just the fundamental parts, but still more than most of our elected officials know. I realize that's a very low bar, but gotta start somewhere. So if you want to stop a viral infection from killing you, well, you really only have to do two things. You've got to stop new viruses from being produced by destroying the infected cells that are making them. That's a job for one of the T lymphocytes, the cytotoxic ones. You've also got to stop the viruses that are already in circulation from infecting healthy cells. That's a job for the B lymphocytes and the antibodies they produce. But to activate both the Bs and the cytotoxic Ts, you need a third lymphocyte to get involved, the helper T cell. Those lymphocytes are the true superstars of the immune system. The B cells
Are like
Beyonce.
and T cells are like Taylor Swift. Yes, we know.
know. See this every video. We know, so boring.
Well, they really are like
You
that
say it every time.
because it's true. I mean, look at this lovely lymphocyte here.
Is that a B or a T lymphocyte?
Well, you need a special stain to tell the difference. Without that, it's impossible to tell them apart.
Like the Christmas movies they show on their Hallmark channel.
Right. Precisely. But your T, if it's mature, it will have unique receptors on its surface for the one and only, hopefully, foreign thing it will ever recognize. It could be anything from anthrax to Zika. It gets assigned to them randomly, like building something out of Legos with your eyes closed. So you end up with trillions of different lymphocytes that recognize millions, if not billions, of different antigens. And most of them will go through their lives never come in contact with the one antigen they could possibly fight against.
What antigen does this one recognize?
Well, you can't tell from a picture, but I'm going to pretend this one is a B cell that can recognize COVID-19. And I've also decided to name it Jackie because, well, it looks like a Jackie to me.
Well, it doesn't look anything like Jackie
No,
O.
Jackie is in Jackie Coogan, who played Uncle Fester in the Addams Family.
Oh, yes. I get
The
it.
likeness is
And
uncanny.
as luck would have it, Jackie happens to be one of the few lymphocytes in my body that can recognize the COVID-19 virus. The rest of the lymphocytes, and there are trillions of them, are going to be no help against it at all. But if I'm ever infected with COVID, it would take an army of Jackies to produce all the antibodies needed. And there just isn't room in my body to keep an army of Jackies around ahead of time on the off chance that I might be exposed to COVID-19. I mean, can you imagine if you had to keep an army of every type of lymphocyte that recognizes every type of disease that may or may not exist now, in the past, or in the future? You would just be one huge lymphocyte. What you have instead are a small handful that are always on patrol. And if Jackie ever does bump into even a fragment of the COVID-19 virus, confirmed and aided by a helper T cell, then Jackie will start growing and dividing over and over again until a week or more later, you've got thousands of mature plasma cell clones of Jackie all ready to start cranking out antibodies. And while your odds of survival just got significantly better, cemeteries are full of people who could not produce antibodies fast enough against diseases like smallpox, diphtheria, polio, tuberculosis. And those that live to tell the tale can have crippling damage that lasts a lifetime. But surviving a primary response does have one huge benefit, because not all the clones produced get involved in fighting the infection.
Do they pretend to have bone spurs?
No, they instead mature into memory cells. Not a full army of them, more like a battalion that stays on high alert. And if you are ever exposed again, they produce a secondary immune response that is hundreds of times better than the primary response was. So let's say you are exposed to the same germs again. Well, you probably won't have many antibodies again from the primary response, so you might get a few symptoms, but it won't be anything like the first time, because those memory cells start growing and producing antibodies rapidly, often within a day, producing hundreds, if not thousands of times more antibodies than they did during the primary response. This secondary response is so rapid, so overwhelming, that you might not even show symptoms at all. Those memory cells are the key to having active immunity. They don't make you invincible, but they do make you 100 times better at fighting off an infection. Oh, and it gets even better because you don't stop producing those antibodies when all traces of the infection are gone. You keep producing them for weeks, months, potentially even longer. Oh, and you get a whole new class of antibodies called IgA that flood your tears, your nose, your throat, that can potentially stop new viruses from infecting you to begin with. So now if some diseased individual breathes on you, or even worse, not only do you have memory cells that can spring into action, but you've still got antibodies that can attack immediately.
Do memory cells last a lifetime?
Well, sadly, they do not. For reasons I don't even pretend to understand, some seem to last for only a few years, while others seem to last for decades.
And you pretend to understand a lot of things.
That's not what I meant.
But it is true.
If only you could trick the body into producing a primary response. That way you'd have memory cells and immunity without all the bother of getting sick and maybe dying, either from the virus or just seeing the hospital bill.
Well, there is a way of tricking the body into producing a primary response. To find out how, you're going to have to wait for my next exciting video, Etheleen Explains Vaccinations. Until then,
Is that what vaccines do? Trick the body into producing a primary response?
Mike, what part of wait for my next exciting video didn't you understand? So much for the reveal.